How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. I have to apologize because I screwed up on Coinbase stock. And the reason I say that is I made several videos yesterday on Coinbase or just over the last couple days. And I don't think I've done a good enough job explaining my thoughts in comparison to other companies, comparing Coinbase to other companies, and then also addressing some of the questions that people have on it. Because a lot of people have some very valid concerns on it, and I went yesterday and bought a good portion of my portfolio in Coinbase. So I want to do a better job of explaining what my thinking is behind it today. Now, I will say right off the bat, we have articles right here. Despite record Q1 results, Coinbase's valuation remains ridiculous, saying that this should be an $18 billion company, basically going down 80% from here. And again, there are just a lot of people that are cautious about this. So I'm going to explain it a little bit better today. Thank you guys for hitting the like button. Thank you for hitting subscribe if you haven't done that already. We do daily videos. Also, there is a link down there to WeBull. In case you want some free stocks, you can get up to $1,900. I got a $300 stock the other day on Facebook. So just deposit $100. Also, there's a link down there to BlockFi in case you want an interest rate on your cryptocurrency, kind of like Coinbase, but it pays a nice interest rate and they give you up to $250 bonus. Check out that link down below. Now, looking at Coinbase today, again, we're having people say that their valuation is ridiculous. This article breaks down basically if they have no transaction volume, or they don't have any transaction fees, I should say, what would happen to the stock? Now, I think there are a couple different ways to think about this. First of all, we have the people that are looking at their net income, looking at comparables, and they're awesome. So just looking at it here, we have PayPal, which is a forward PE of 61. They're growing at a revenue growth of about 21%. We have Square, which is growing about 101% revenue growth, which is trading at a forward PE of 207. We have Shopify, which is at a forward PE of 2,500. Now, this is thrown off a little bit because they just became profitable, but their revenue growth is around 86%. And then we have Coinbase down here, which blows all these out of the water. This is them at $325 a share. They have a forward PE of 28, and they're growing at 144% a year. This is not taking into account their last quarter over quarter because a lot of their growth came over the last two quarters. They have an 860% Q1 2021 versus Q1 2020 growth rate. Now, they are just really hitting the exponential part of their growth here. So yesterday, as you probably know, I bought some shares, then I bought some more, and then I bought some more. So I waited for it to 380, then I bought more at 350-ish, then more at 330-ish, and I've never been happier to lose 5%, I'll be honest with you. The bear case scenario, which is what a lot of people are making right now, is that there's going to be a race down to the bottom, and this is something that I thought about too, right? There are so many platforms that give 0% fees, and the majority of Coinbase's revenue comes from their fees, right? It's a very significant amount. Now, I broke down the numbers with some really back of the envelope math showing what they actually made based on this last quarter. So this is from last year, 2020. They had 136 million in revenue from subscriptions, from different things besides just trading fees. And they break it down in here a little bit more, but they had 136 million, which is very different than their 1.1 billion overall. Now, last quarter, again, they grew a significant amount. They had 1.8 billion for the quarter as opposed to 1.1 billion all last year. You can see that only about a tenth of the revenue, a little bit over a tenth of the revenue, is from these subscriptions and other fees or other revenue. Now, if we break that down to just this last quarter, that would put them around 200 million in other revenues. Now, this is still growing very quickly. Remember that. For anyone that's wondering, this is still growing at a significant rate. If we just look here, this is growing at 160% a year or so when you consider it was just 50 million last year. So we are growing pretty quickly here. If we drop this down, and me, Kevin, did an awesome job of this in a video recently. He actually went through this and brought the transaction volume down to 0, which is something that, I did back of the envelope math. He made it look really nice here. But if you take the transaction volume down to 0 and then project 5 years into the future, he gave a 70% growth right here. That would put them at revenue of about $1.3, $1.4 billion a quarter. Now, again, I'm not going to show you his entire video or anything like that, but there's still massive profitability years down the line if they grow anywhere near what they're growing now. I mean, we're talking about if they grow 60, 70, 80%, so less than they were growing this last year, if they grow at that rate for the next 4 or 5 years, we're still talking about a massive amount of net income in a couple of years. Now, that's assuming zero transaction volume or zero transaction revenue, I should say. Now, the thing is, we're just starting to hit where people are actually using crypto. So we only have about 1/10 of people here in the US that actually own crypto. We have about 50% of people that own stocks. And I can guarantee you, people do not, on average, have as much in crypto as they have in stocks. As this becomes more mainstream, you could see more and more money coming in to Coinbase. We could see massive profitability over the next couple of years, especially until maybe some of these brokers actually allow people to trade crypto. Because I don't imagine Fidelity, Schwab, Vanguard, I don't imagine these companies releasing crypto in the next couple months, maybe even the next year. I think it's going to take a while for these companies to do that. And even once they do, if Coinbase drops their fees, I think there's going to be still a significant amount of people that don't want to leave Coinbase. If Coinbase drops their fees to 0, I don't know why I would ever move money over to one of these other brokers just to have it in one place. It seems like a lot of effort when I can just keep it on Coinbase. And Coinbase does offer some other cool things. I actually started using Coinbase a couple of years ago because my brother-in-law pointed out to me you can make money just watching videos on it. Like you can answer little quizzes and make $2-3 in crypto within like a minute or two. So I used it for that, which was a good way to get people into the app. But they're also going to be increasing their marketing expenses. So right here, they don't have much for marketing. Sales and marketing was only about 5% of their revenue. They want to bump this up to 15%. That's what they want to do this year. They want to get a ton of people on this app. They already own 11.1% of the entire crypto market based on their assets. So they're growing this pretty steadily here. And this has been on not a huge marketing budget. Of course, there's going to be more competition down the line, right? That just makes sense, especially when people see how profitable they are. I'm sure that a lot of these brokers, like I said, are probably going to unveil it in the next year or two. And I'm sure they have teams already working on introducing crypto. But how far behind are they going to be? Like how many people are now looking at Coinbase, trying out Coinbase, put in 10, 20 grand, trading a little bit? How many people have heard about Coinbase and how huge the IPO is? How many people that really were wondering whether they want to get into crypto, but now are opening up accounts at Coinbase? That's going to be crazy because we see that in a lot of SPACs too. Like with Tattoo Chef, that's something that people talk about all the time. Did they have inflated numbers just because they went SPAC and a lot of people paid attention to them? A lot of investors were probably buying their food just to see how it was. But with this one, not too many people, I think, had talked about Coinbase before the last couple weeks, honestly. Like we knew as investors that they were probably going to go IPO this year or DPO, but not too many people, like normal people, were talking about it. So with this happening, I think there's going to be a lot of people that join the app. We continuously think about the bear case scenario for Coinbase. Imagine the bull case where they go up to, let's say, 14, 15% of market capitalization. I mean, I'm sure it's higher than this now because they had 11% in 2020, and then their revenue in Q1 increased dramatically. It was higher than the whole year of 2020. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw 15 to 20% that they own of this market now. Now, I think as the prices get higher too for crypto, that's something that I'm not sure a lot of people have considered. As Bitcoin goes up dramatically, as Ethereum goes up dramatically, they get higher and higher fees, at least in the short term, right? So with Bitcoin going to 64,000 compared to at the beginning of the quarter, it being at 34,000, 33,000, whatever it was, they're making double the fees. Until they drop those fees down, they're going to continue to make more and more money as crypto goes up and up in value. And there's so many catalysts for crypto right now, right? There's so many catalysts. We still have a bunch of companies that will probably reveal that they invest in crypto, at least a little bit. I imagine some tech companies will invest in crypto this next quarter. So it's going to be really interesting. Of course, there are risks with Coinbase. I'm not saying that there aren't risks. That's why we see it at 330 today as opposed to 550 today. People are weighing the risk reward of this. And a lot of people are saying, I'm not sure if I want to invest in this because if you take away their fee income, that they don't make a tenth as much revenue, that they make barely a tenth as much revenue. So there are people that are nervous about it, which I get. But there's going to be massive profitability short term. I think there's going to be significant profitability long term too, because again, crypto's really young right now. So I think that's where the risk reward comes in. That's why we're not seeing it go to the moon today. But I think it's definitely worth nibbling on. I think I have about 3% of my portfolio now in Coinbase, which is pretty exciting to me. The reason I don't have more, I have a lot of normal crypto, just Ethereum and Bitcoin in BlockFi. Like that is 30% of my portfolio right there. And then I have this, and then I have CLSK, I have Voyager too. So I do have some other companies in the crypto space. That's why I'm not going heavier at this point. But if Coinbase goes down to maybe 310, 315, I might be nibbling some more on it. But let me know your thoughts on this down below. Hopefully I answered some fears of some people getting into Coinbase. Hopefully you hit the like button. I appreciate you guys doing that. Check out the links down below to WeBull, to M1 Finance if you want some free money. Just deposit $100 into a brokerage account there, and the link down below to BlockFi. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. And if you want to join the Patreon and get this kind of information more regularly, you can check out the link down below. Thanks.